Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to The Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper. Boy, I'll tell you, things have been happening around here. And one of them pretty crazy and the rest of them kind of good. I was looking through a bunch of old boxes and I found probably the only photograph that I still have of me behind the helm of my patrol boat on the Quaviet River, heading upriver just before sunset to go on the nightly patrol. And a friend, I remember when it was taken, a friend of mine in the boat that was immediately ahead of us going to their patrol area snapped the picture. And so that made me very happy because I wanted a picture for the book. And the second thing is I've never, ever found any of my old crew members, ever. Didn't know what happened to them, nothing. Did searches everywhere, forgotten a lot of their names, and ones I couldn't remember I did searches for and couldn't find them anywhere. And then I was looking around on some forums yesterday, as a matter of fact, and found one of my old enginemen who was one of my crew members, and sent an email. And you know how that is. You see a post on a forum somewhere and you send an email. 9 times out of 10, they're not even at that email address anymore. But a couple hours later, I actually got an answer. It was amazing. So I was pretty happy about that. So those are the two things that are really good. And then the next one is going to blow your mind, so I'm going to give you some music here, and give me time to figure out how I'm going to tell you this story. So be right back. Don't go anywhere. To the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper, the most dangerous radio host in America, according to William Jefferson Place. Night before last, folks. Oh, you're going to love this. Night before last, I'm sound asleep in my bed, just, sawing logs. All of a sudden, the biggest commotion I think I've ever heard in my life woke me. And, of course, immediately I grabbed my night scope and my rifle and ran downstairs and went to a position where I could see what was going on. Both of the dogs were barking and snarling ferociously. and the chickens were squawking and raising holy hell, if there is such a thing. And I couldn't see anyone with the night vision, so I went outside, turned on the outside lights, and then the security lights came on. And there was the biggest skunk I think I've ever seen in my life. And this skunk is not paying any attention to the dogs and marching straight towards Crusher with his tail held high, and I thought, oh, no, please don't do this. But that skunk wasn't going to listen to me. I tried to holler at the skunk and get him to change course, and tried to get Crusher to settle down, and of course that wasn't going to happen, and I don't think Crusher could probably hear me anyway over all the barking and the chickens and the Sugar Bear also. And that skunk marched right up to Crusher. Now, Crusher had never seen anything like this before in his life, because he's a ferocious dog. And so it sort of took him by surprise, so he sat down and just looked at the skunk. Well, the skunk turned around and sprayed Crusher. And that was it. You know, I've seen dogs sprayed by skunks before, and what they do is they start yelping and yowling and put their tail between their legs, and their eyes are watering and they can't see, and they run away. Not Crusher. Made him angry. And you know, he couldn't figure it out. Here minding my own business in my own yard, I see you coming, I give you plenty of warning, and you march right up to me, like the bravest animal in the world. And so I sit down to study the situation, and you spray me. And without any hesitation at all, Crusher grabbed that skunk's head and crushed it and just ripped him to pieces right in front of me. And everything out there got sprayed. And it just smelled so horribly bad that I couldn't believe it. The chickens are running off as fast as they can to get away from it, and Sugar Bear is trying to get as far away as he can from it, and Crusher didn't even bother. So when I tell you this is a dog that you don't want to mess with, I'm not kidding, folks. And so now Crusher smells horribly. Half the yard smells horribly. And a couple of cars smell horribly. And I have to feed Crusher every day and change his water and all that kind of stuff. And so before I even get close to him, I make him go to the other side and sit, and I tell him to stay. Then I keep one eye on him in case he decides he's not going to stay, because he wants to play. And normally I play with him and take him for 2 or 3 walks every day. Well, I'm not going to do it now. And so I got to tell you, that's just about the biggest mess I've ever seen, and it was pretty hard to go back to sleep, because you know how that skunk smell wafts on the breeze, and I had the windows open, so it was already in the house. And so I closed every window on that side of the house, and I've been airing it out through the back, so the house is okay. But I hope that never happens again, folks. I got to tell you, it's just it's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. But that skunk, I guess he thought he was king. I guess he thought he was King Skunk, and he was going to show Crusher a thing or two. I don't have any idea what was on that skunk's mind, but that skunk doesn't exist anymore, because here's the kicker. Skunker, that's what I call him now. I don't call him Crusher, I call him Skunker. Crusher ate the whole skunk. Literally ate him. Now, folks, that's got to be the meanest dog alive on this planet. But it's okay. I still love him. Well, folks, President Bush finally made up his mind today about the cloning issue. Not the cloning issue, the stem cell issue. And we may talk about that a little bit later, but I'm expecting somebody to call in. Let's see if this is the call. Good evening, you're on the air.
On your dog there, what you'll need to do is to give him a bath with some tomato juice.
Yep, I know, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not getting close to that dog. He likes to play, and he likes to play when I give him. If I try to give him a bath, he'll have that stink all over me before I get any tomato juice all over him. If you want to come and do it, I'll watch.
Yeah, he's your puppy, Bill.
Yeah, I know.
Just take it easy.
Well, Sugar Bear knows all about this stuff because he got sprayed when we lived in Camp Verde, and we did give him a tomato bath because Sugar Bear is a real calm, nice dog, and he don't play rough. But Crusher likes to play, and he loves to play when you give him a bath. And I've always played with him. I put on some dirty clothes, and I go out, and we both get a bath. Is what happens when I give Crusher a bath. So I'm not going to do it this time. No, sir.
Okay, nice talking to you.
Thanks for calling. No, sir. No. I am not going near him at all. He likes to play too much, and he'll have me down on the ground, and we'll both be, stinking like skunk for 6 months, and I'm not going to do it. No. George Bush made up his mind on stem cell research today, and I think he came up with a real good solution. But that's just my opinion. What he said was with the existing, and nobody knew how many stem cell lines there were. There were guesses from 5 to 100. I've seen all kinds of guesses. But he says there's 60. And he says he's going to give them permission to fund those 60 for stem cell research since the fetuses have already been destroyed, which I don't like at all. But they're already gone, and those stem cell lines already exist, so they're going to use those and no others. And he said that he's going to encourage them to use adult stem cells and a few other things, and he's putting together a big commission of people, which scares me, because they will justify over a period of time how to get right back into killing babies again for stem cell research. You watch. That's the only part of this I don't like. You get a whole bunch of scientists together, they don't give a damn about morals or the fact that fetuses are human. They don't care. They don't care. But I do. So we got to watch those guys. So that'll be the topic tonight, unless something else comes up. 520-333-4578's the number. Going to take your calls for the rest of the hour, and that's what we're going to talk about. Cloning, you can talk about cloning too. Cloning and stem cell research. Good evening, you're on the air.
Hello, Mr. Cooper.
Hello.
Talking about stem cell research, I feel that, it's just mankind trying to play God. That and cloning.
Yeah.
There are just some things that even though we can do them, we just shouldn't.
Yes, that's true. I agree with you.
We've totally gone too far. I mean, mapping the human genome out is one thing, but
Well, I wrote in my book. Here's what I wrote in my book.
Yeah.
But way back in the 80s, I talked about the Genome Project, and I said, here's what I said. I said, what they're doing is mapping out the human genetics so that they can clone humans and create a race of people with the traits that they want to rule eventually. Now, this won't happen for a long time.
Hitler tried to do it with breeding.
Yeah, but they're going to do it with in the laboratory.
Cloning, yeah.
Yeah, you watch. And I said that eventually a human being will be cloned. And I said this years and years and years ago, and I've said it on this broadcast many, many times. The whole purpose of the Genome Project, if they carry it through to its ultimate conclusion, is to be able to manufacture humans.
Well, even 10 years ago when they started with this gene splicing stuff, I mean, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. Why do we need to have chicken genes in our strawberries? What was wrong with the strawberries before?
Nothing. I love them.
Yeah, me too. I mean, why do we need to insert chicken genes into them to make them grow bigger?
I have no idea. And why do we need bigger strawberries?
Well, mankind is playing God. That's all it is.
I saw a strawberry not too long ago in the store that was as big as my closed fist. I'd never seen a strawberry that big in my life. Where the hell did that come from?
Chicken genes.
Well, I didn't buy it.
I don't blame you, sir. And try putting your tomato juice in a sprinkling can for Crusher, if you can get him to sit long enough.
No, when it's bath time, he knows it's playtime. You can't change old habits like that. I mean, he is well trained, but he knows when it's playtime. And bath time has always been playtime when he knew it was okay to get me just as wet as I was getting him. and we just, we've always played at bath time, and he just loved it. And because of that, he was never hesitant to take a bath, which I thought was great, because some dogs hate to take a bath, and it's a pain to get them to take a bath. Not Crusher, he loves it.
Well, I know that skunk smell really reeks. I'm a Vermont boy, so...
Oh, it's horrible. It is horrible. But it's good, because I'll guarantee you, the feds won't be coming up here as long as that smells out there. And if they thought, they didn't want to meet Crusher before, they really don't want to meet him now. I guarantee.
Oh, if you had a way you could bottle that, you could use it when the feds came up.
Well, I wish there was a way.
God bless you, sir.
Thanks for calling.
All right, bye-bye.
And God bless you. 520-333-4578 is the number. What do you think about this stem cell research? Where do you think it's going to go? You think George Bush is just, what he's done is set up. Here's what he's done. He's taken it off of himself. He's set up a panel that will make the decisions. And this panel is going to be made up of all kinds of different people. I mean, they read off some of the names of the people, and they talked about clergymen and scientists and ethicists and all kinds of different people. But I know where that's going to go. I know where it's going to go. And they'll make recommendations to Congress, and Congress will pass laws. And they'll put out propaganda and stuff, and they'll convince the majority of the people that it's okay, and the president will sign the bills. And they'll go right back to doing what they were doing, and worse. You wait and see. Because, this New World Order stuff is not a joke, folks. And they want to make sure that at some point in the future that they've reduced the population to manageable levels, and that they stop producing babies in the population. And they'll be producing humans in the laboratory that will eventually take over natural-born humanity. And because they need people to mow the lawn, work the farm, drive the tractor, and drive the bus, and make shoes, and, all that stuff. That's another good topic, too. If they clone a human, will that clone have a soul? Bet you never thought of that. You talk about a good way for that old father of lies to build himself an army. How about cloning? How about cloning? Can scientists put a soul into a clone that they create in a laboratory that's not created the natural way that God made for humans to procreate? 520-333-4578. I bet you there's nobody that can answer that question. How much you want to bet? I bet you there's nobody can answer that question. I mean, you might be able to answer it, but nobody can prove it. I couldn't prove it, but I don't think you could convince me that a clone has a soul. Good evening. You're on the air. Hello. Goodbye. 520-333-4578's the number. If you're going to call, turn off your radio. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello, Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Yes, I don't believe that phones have a soul.
What kind of phone are you on?
But what a perfect way for
Hello?
the Father of
Hello?
lies to send his demons
Hello.
into soulless bodies to populate him.
Goodbye. You're on a bad phone, and I tried to interrupt to find out if you could switch phones, and you wouldn't stop talking to let me ask you, so I had to cut you off. Don't like to do that, but you are on a real bad phone, and it was cutting in and out. Very hard to understand. 520-333-4578 is the number. In fact, I would prefer, folks, if you just call on a regular phone. Please don't use cell phones or roam phones. Okay, unless you absolutely have to, and if it works fine, that's all right. But, you know, that's where we always have the problems, is with those kinds of instruments. 520-333-4578 is the number. What do you think about the President's decision on stem cell research? And what do you think about cloning? And as a sort of a teaser here, does a clone, or will a clone, have a soul? Good evening. You're on the air.
Well, you remember in the movie Blade Runner?
Yep.
They tried to give the clones souls, or give the impression that they had souls.
Well, I don't think they ever tried to give them souls. They tried to make them think they had souls.
Huh?
I think they tried to make them think they had souls.
Yeah. And I think that Blade Runner, when I looked at it, was sort of trying to give the impression that that was a possibility. But I don't think so. I think that in God's infinite wisdom and all of His creative process, that's not possible. It's the soul is sort of like the battery that.
Yeah, where would they get a soul to put in a clone?
Yeah. And you know, back years ago, with Carillion photography, they were able to photograph, and even with the permission of some people who were terminally ill, who were dying, they were able to weigh their bodies at the point of when they died, and take a picture of the energy. You could call it the soul, the energy, the life force leaving the body. And they were able to put a quantitative value on it of weight, of mass. And it's about an ounce.
Well, now I think you're getting into things that you can't prove.
Well, no, I'm just telling you about what I read.
Yeah, well,
okay? I'm not trying to.
Well, you were saying it.
Say that this is true or whatever, but
that's the way you were.
I've got a couple of books here.
Hello. Why is it that you guys?
Hello.
Jeez. I don't understand, folks. You know, if you're going to call, you have to participate in a dialogue. That is exactly the way he was saying it, as if it was fact. And what I was trying to do is get him to say, hey, this is what I read. I don't know if it's true or not. And that's, you know, guys got to remember that stuff. We don't spread rumors on this broadcast. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Bill.
Hi.
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to point out about this stem cell debate is that one of the things that they were trying to make hay out of today was the fact that Bush went against his campaign pledge. And, you know, there was a lot of talk about it. But there was very, very little discussion. Of course, it was printed just as a matter of record and then dropped, that he also went back on his pledge to pull the troops out of Bosnia, which is, to my mind, in certain respects, much more important. But that's not to say that the stem cell debate isn't important.
Well, I think what's important about the stem cell debate, is that they were killing babies to get the stem cells.
No, they weren't killing babies to
Yes,
get the
they were.
No, Bill.
Yes, they were. A fetus is a human.
No, they weren't killing fetuses to get.
They were. Absolutely were. They were taking the stem cells and then destroying the fetus. Absolutely.
What, they were aborted fetuses originally?
Doesn't matter where they come from. They're human life.
Okay, so you're equating an embryo with a fetus.
I'm not equating an embryo with a fetus. I'm telling you it's a human being.
Yeah.
From the point of conception, it's a human being.
Right. I follow you as well.
Read the Constitution. You're entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's a right.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
And
It's
I
murder.
agree.
It's murder what they were doing.
Yeah, but it's incredible the path that we've taken, because the Romans developed cesarean sections. It's incredible that they had the surgical technique at that time to do that. And I mean, imagine that right now children are being born after a ovum is taken out of a mother. A number of ovums are taken out of. The father's sperm is placed in essentially a petri dish. It's fertilized, creating an embryo. Those embryos are then cryogenically frozen in liquid nitrogen, and then at some future date, they're implanted in a woman's uterus.
Yeah.
And you're essentially asking the question of, can an embryo that's created by cloning, where they rupture the cell wall, insert genetic material, and then implant it in an ovum, can that have a soul?
Yeah.
And I would ask the same question about in vitro, I guess it's in vitro fertilization, and it's very bizarre, and it's a strange thing, because we have taken out of the Sex Act much import about almost esoteric things about the energy between a male and a female.
It has no import whatsoever today with most of the sheeple.
Yeah,
it is an act of entertainment.
Well, yeah, that's been the case for many people, but it's bizarre to think that there are already children walking around who were once frozen embryos in some cryogenic stainless steel container, and the question is, what body of people and what line are we going to draw? It's like, I was thinking today, listening to this debate on the radio about the stem cell thing, that expression came to my mind, is nothing sacred?
Now you're getting to the whole point of all of this stuff. What's one of the biggest and foremost goals of Marxist socialism?
Well, they're obviously materialists, and so they want to tear down any notion of anything being sacred.
They want to destroy all morals. They want to destroy all religious. They want to destroy all ethics. They don't want any of those things. They say ethics are situational. It's okay to tell a lie. There are no morals.
Yeah.
Because there is no God.
Well, let's be practical, Bill. What would you suggest that people advocate for in terms of public policy, given that we have achieved some of these things, which are so hard to argue against when you hear talk about,
like what?
Men who are infertile, and yet their wife is fertile, and so they want to take sperm from somebody else and fertilize her egg and implant it in her. So
why? With all these unwanted babies all over the world, why?
Right, and so I can go along with that. The question is, how do we put together a body of individuals who are going to make that decision? Do you feel good about it being done by the legislature?
The legislature does not have the power or the jurisdiction to do it. There is no constitution in this country or in any state. the power to regulate it. They don't have the power to do anything with it.
Right, so don't we have a darned awful problem? And I guess what you're going to say is that it comes down to a matter of morality, and without morality and people having an education to where they would question these things and come to a commonsensical attitude about it.
Without morality, society is doomed, and men like me all over this country are planning to do something about it. And nobody's going to like what we're going to do. But we're going to do it.
Yeah, well, I guess it's been that way since time immemorial, so.
Absolutely.
Here we go around in circles.
Human race is flawed, and that's not ever going to change. Not ever going to change.
Yeah.
Nobody, unless, Jesus comes back, nobody's going to be born perfect on this earth.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's amazing to me. I find it very hard to advocate against, for example, these techniques that are allowing these people to become fertile when they have.
Why? Let me ask you again. Why, when there's all these babies and children that are orphaned and unwanted all over the world, would you have to go through that?
Well,
especially if they're infertile, you got to use somebody else's sperm or egg anyway.
Right,
why don't you just adopt one of these little children?
Well, what some of them will say, Bill, is that there's some sort of metaphysical quality to having a child that's at least half their genes. I don't necessarily go along with that either, because
here's what it is. It's irresponsible selfishness. Is what it is.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's a tough one to me.
It's why in Asia they go to the doctor to find out if it's going to be a boy or a girl.
Yeah,
if it's going to be a girl, it's aborted.
It's horrific.
If it's going to be a boy, then it's carried to term and the baby's delivered.
Yeah.
And they have a big problem over there. There are all these boys running around that aren't ever going to find a wife.
Can't find a wife. Yeah, crazy. Man.
Not only can't, won't ever find a wife. There aren't enough women. They're killing all the women.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll let somebody else get on.
Okay. Thanks for calling. Yeah, folks, you may find it hard to argue against those things, but I don't have any problem arguing against those things at all. They're wrong. And that's all there is to it. Now, if you have a couple that are having a problem getting pregnant, but both the mother and the father have the necessary biological material to make that happen, I see no problem with doctors helping that happen in the womb or in the mother, the prospective mother. As long as it comes from that couple and it goes back into that couple, I really don't have a whole lot of problem with the in vitro thing. If the sperm comes from the father, the egg comes from the mother, and then the embryo goes back into the mother. I don't have a whole lot of problems with that. But I do if they're going to take it from one mother and one father and then put it into some other female altogether. Something wrong with that. There's something really sick about this modern society. Really sick. And I don't mean just gag me with a spoon sick. I mean sick. This does not portend well for future generations. And somewhere down the line, I think we're going to pay big time for all this stuff. Really big time. And I can tell you for sure that if the Fed keeps doing what it's doing, they keep breaking promises and breaking treaties and infringing on people's rights and stealing people's rights and destroying our freedoms and destroying this country, there's going to be a war. A lot of people are going to die. And that's horrible. I can't think of anything. Well, yes, I can. But that's way up there on my list of horrible things. I fought in a war. I know what it is. I just wish they'd stop. Good evening. You're on the air.
Good evening, Bill. This is Will from Missouri.
Hi, Will.
I've got as soon as you started coming into this topic tonight, it reminded me of something I read in Plato's Republic, and I'll read it if I may.
How long is it?
Very short.
Okay, go ahead.
It says here in the comments afterwards, if the guardians are to be wise, they must be very carefully bred, selected, reared, and educated. The biological fitness of the ruling class should be guaranteed by a comprehensive program of eugenics. The most select parents should be induced to have the greatest number of children. Even more important is education. But when we think about it in terms of this modern age, we must remember that this modern age has been educated by people who have been working on this particular agenda since Rome and before. So there's not that much that's new about this idea other than the technology that is now in their grasp.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct.
And
that was the whole purpose of the Genome Project.
yes.
If they're not going to do something in the line of manufacturing humanity, then the whole Genome Project was worthless.
Right.
There was no point to it.
Right. In the Time, February the 12th, 2001 issue in the Viewpoint section by Charles Krauthammer, and he's written many things that I could take issue with, but he has an article here at the Viewpoint, Why Pro-Lifers Are Missing the Point, and it's the debate over fetal tissue research, and he says that it overlooks the big issue. But I could take issue with just about everything that he's written in this particular article. But he does bring up a couple of points. I'm just going to get some things that I highlighted. I set this up on my bulletin board. But monkeys today are humans tomorrow. That's one of the things he said there. Even organisms, what monsters we will soon be capable of creating. That's another thing. It's not the cell's origin, but their destiny. And this seems to be his primary point in this article. It's not the cell's origin, but their destiny. What are they going to be used for? And it's the same Illuminati or whatever agenda where the end justifies the means.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing that's going on right now. In some laboratory somewhere deep underground in a top secret project, they're already using the information from the Genome Project to create some living creature that they can land on the White House lawn and pawn off as an extraterrestrial being.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I can tell you that's absolutely happening right now.
Well, in this same Time magazine, now I've discarded the rest of the magazine.
What kind of phone are you on?
I'm on a regular telephone.
Okay.
Am I not speaking loud enough?
No, that's okay. Do you hear those little clicks and things?
Yes, I do.
That's those guys that can't get a job anywhere else trying to make the connection break.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe my line is tapped. I hope not.
No, it's my line that's tapped.
Okay. Well,
you notice as soon as I identified what they're doing, they stopped.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, in the same
get a job, guy. Get a real job.
Yeah, really. Get a decent job. Get a little bit of patriotism or get something anyway. But in the same issue, they had a monkey, I guess, that they were able to take certain stem cell research. I don't know. I'm a mental block on this stuff, but they were able to cross a jellyfish, I believe, with a monkey, and the monkey came out with an iridescent sheen on it, and whatever that would be. But
well, I don't think it's absolutely impossible to cross species. What they probably did was take some of the jellyfish genetic material and put into the embryo or the egg of the monkey.
Yes, and what happened was when it came to life, or so many of them died, but the one that did live, it came out carrying along the jellyfish's shine and glow in the dark deal.
Yeah.
But I'll just read another little bit of this.
Well, now you've been on way too long. You got to let some other people get in. Thanks for calling.
Good night, Bill.
520-333-4578 is the number. We're talking about stem cell research, cloning. And one of the questions is, Can a clone, or will a clone, have a soul? Boy, that's a big one, isn't it? They could debate that till the end of time, and I don't think they could ever come up with an answer. 520-333-4578 is the number. What do you think about all this, folks? Good evening. You're on the air.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
The other night, 60 Minutes 2 was on, and they were doing some things there. They showed some of the trout that they have genetically restructured, and will go on the market soon if approved, I might add.
What did they do to the trout? I thought trout was delicious the way it was.
It was, but they had to genetically engineer it to make it much bigger, and so a 4-pound trout is now over a 9-pound trout, and I might add, Bill, by looking at it, it looks healthier to me, but nevertheless, it's over 9 pounds now, exceeded even their expectations.
Now, how did they do this?
From what I gathered off the program, they have taken the cells from a flounder, and merged it with that.
Well, at least it's a fish.
Yeah, that's about.
But it's still tampering with something that shouldn't be tampered with.
It is. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But he went on to add this, Bill, and it's good food for thought because I never thought of it before. He said our breads have been genetically altered for 10 years and no one said a word.
No, I make
3 different grains and stuff that they've all spliced together, and so this is what we're eating.
Well, only if you're eating it. I make my own bread and I know where the grain comes from.
Sure, and I might add too that a person named like a Hoagland, but he's not. He's into a research for the Egyptians and things. Says that these things that you see with the body of a cow and the head of a snake and all that were genetically altered thousands of years ago.
No, don't start that.
Well,
Don't bring the bullshit in here from the Looney Tune woo-woo crowd. I don't even want to hear it.
This is just food for thought, Bill.
No, it's not food for thought. It's bullshit. Don't do it on my show.
Okay,
don't even do it on my show.
Okay, yeah. And I might add also that if a human is cloned, it will not have a soul. You can ask me why, Bill?
Well, go ahead. I know you can't prove it either way. If it could be proven, I'd be the first one to be proving it. But
well, you can prove it, sir.
How?
Open your scriptures and read where it says that God created man, and then after that he breathed into him the breath of life, and he became a living soul. So if God doesn't create man, then he can't become a living soul, sir.
Well, now that's talking about the creation of Adam.
Well,
isn't that correct?
Pardon me?
Isn't that correct? From then on, God didn't breathe anything into anybody. It's a matter of sexual reproduction.
Yeah, but God does that. And I might add also...
Well, God created that method.
That's true, but he started it. He started it all, like the chicken and the egg. I might add also, Bill, that I lost my train of thought. That's all I have.
It's okay. I do it all the time.
Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling. That's okay to lose your chain of thought. I do it all the time. And by the way, I've been busy with a little bit of photography. I'm going to be putting some stuff on the website so you can take a look and see what kind of photography I like to do. And it's just, I just fooling around, actually, really. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Bill.
Hi.
No, I think the clone, if you could even call it that, would be soulless. You circumvent certain laws of nature. And
you're circumventing all the laws of nature.
Exactly.
What you're doing.
There's a certain coupling mechanism that is required, and hopefully that's done with respect and dignity.
Yeah.
It looks like it'd be the Ubermensch project is what it'll be. Superman.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. They want, but it won't be a Superman per se, because they're going. What they want to do is manufacture a race of people that will never threaten rebellion or question, what they're taught and things like. They may be super strength in order to perform manual labor, and they may have certain traits like Hitler wanted everybody to have blonde hair and blue eyes and certain dimensions of the skull and all of that kind of stuff. These are Nazis. There's no doubt about it. Hitler was a socialist, and that's what most people don't understand. And these people in Washington, D.C. are no different from, they want to do the same things that Hitler wanted to do.
Exactly. Well, I'll let someone else get on. Thanks.
Thanks for calling.
Good day.
520-333-45. Did he say good day? Was that a call from Australia? 520-333-4578 is the number. And this is an interesting topic. When we're talking about something like this, that's the time I wish we had 3 hours or so. Good evening, you're on the air. Hello? Goodbye. Chicken pucker. 520-333-4576. You're not going to talk, folks. Don't call. Okay? 520-333-4578 is the number. We're talking about stem cell research. Nobody's commented on the president's decision except for me so far. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's abhorrent to all of you, or do you agree with part of it, or you agree with all of it, or what? But so far, most of the callers, all of the callers, I think, maybe agree that they don't believe a clone would have a soul. I don't believe it. I don't know how you would convince me of that. 520-333-4578 is the number. Listening to the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper, the most dangerous radio host in America, according to William Jefferson Clinton, if you ever know. We're talking about stem cell research. The president's decision today of stem cell research has some far-reaching consequences. We're talking about cloning, and one of the questions that I ask is, if they clone a human being, will it have a soul? Pretty heavy question. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. This stem cell thing, this cloning, it would not create a soul, and what it would create would be it's something like for what an evil spirit would enter into. It's almost like something what the Germans were doing during World War II. Trying to create a race of beings, and it's
but they were using natural reproduction and birth and all that kind of stuff. But if they had the ability to clone, they believe me, the Nazis would have been doing it.
Oh,
they would have been.
And the type of generation or the type of society that we have is really a first society.
Say that again. I didn't quite understand.
You said something about the world. What type of world we are in or something. It's really a perverse society that we're in.
You mean perverse?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And this, I didn't think that the president would allow it in this country. And then the next thing, he's turned around and also, I was hoping that he could get those troops out of Bosnia.
Is this Abdul?
No.
Oh, okay. I asked because a listener who calls me every once in a while, he sounds like you, sent me a book.
No, I never called before.
Yeah, okay. He sent me a book, and that's why I was asking if you were Abdul. I wanted to comment on the book.
But anyway, thanks for letting me have this comment.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling. Call again. 520-333-4578 is the number. And we're talking about stem cell research. Cloning. Would a clone have a soul? Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing, Bill? This is Rick from Long Island.
Hi, Rick.
Yeah, I agree with you that I think, stem cell research is dangerous and stuff, and that life is sacred from conception and so forth. And also, I believe that that clones definitely don't have a soul.
Okay, I don't think all stem cell research is dangerous. In other words, if they were to use adult stem cells, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But killing babies to get stem cells, that's murder.
Oh, no doubt about that.
And we're a murderous society, aren't we?
Right. Also, I agree with the Pope. What the Pope said about the issue, that it's murder. Also,
Yeah. Well, he's right.
And obviously, the Pope isn't a perfect being. I mean, what you said in your book, "Behold the Pale Horse," about that the Pope during the war supposedly sold Zyklon B gas or something like that.
Yeah, he worked for a chemical company. That was in the business of making the gas that was used to kill people.
That's amazing. And also, I saw in a special on News World International that the Pope also bestowed a medal onto Kurt Waldheim in the I guess it was the early '80s or something.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean that's great.
You know that the Germans, in cooperation with the Catholic Church, had an escape plan set up for a lot of the high-ranking Nazis.
Operation Paperclip?
No. I think it was called something else. Paperclip brought a lot of Nazis and scientists, Nazis to the United States to work here.
Oh, like von Braun and stuff, right?
Yeah. But the Catholic Church helped a lot of high-ranking Nazis escape Germany and relocate and helped get them new identification and hid them around the world. Some of them just escaped right into the church and became priests and monks and so on and so forth. This is well documented. This is no secrets, no mystery, and there's lots of books been written on it by renowned researchers, and the proof and the documentation is solid that you can't break it, no matter what you do.
Yeah, it's amazing how split the Catholic Church is these days, with people like the Maryknoll sisters, who are into that liberation theology thing, and that's kind of big with the Jesuits these days and stuff like that.
Well, that comes that comes wholly and completely right out of the Jesuit order.
Right.
But I also have to say, in defense of most Catholics, if they had known what the church was doing with the Nazis, would not have permitted it.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Okay, have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
520-333-4578 is the number. And we're talking about stem cell research, cloning. I bet we just made a lot of Catholics angry. I'm sorry, folks, if the truth makes you angry. There's nothing I can do about it. The truth is the truth, and the truth will always be what's spoken on this broadcast. Good evening, you're on the air.
Good evening, Bill. About the soul and the clone.
Yeah.
The way clones are made.
Well, wait a minute. No human has ever been cloned.
No, but I'm just saying
that we know of. That we know of.
The process of cloning.
Yeah.
It's removal of DNA from a cell of either skin or whatever, and the removal of the DNA from the egg, and then the insertion of the skin's DNA into the egg. They jolt it with electricity to get it to divide, and that's how the clone, the embryo starts to grow. But it's not a conceived embryo.
Yeah.
So it's a made embryo, which would not give it a soul.
Yeah. I believe that sometime in the future they won't even need the egg. They'll be able to take a single cell from anyone's body and clone them from it.
I agree with you on that, and I think also this thing with the stem cell, if they can't get enough embryonic stem cells from the placenta and the umbilical cord, they can use those.
There's plenty of stem cells. They can get stem cells from adults.
Right, but they even have that from the afterbirth and the umbilical cord too.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of going to, they're saying very limited use now, then it'll be limited use, then it'll be
it's called gradualism. And that's how they've attacked the right to keep and bear arms and a whole lot of other things.
Right, this is the way they're going to get us into accepting cloning and stuff like that.
Not me. I will never accept anything that is morally wrong or that goes against the founding precepts, principles, and ideals of this nation. Never will I do it.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. So like I said, there is no soul in a clone. And again, thank you for your patriotism, your good work, and God bless you.
Thank you for calling, my friend. That's it, folks. Good night. God bless each and every single one of you. Good night, Annie Pooh and Allison. I love you. People call me all the time and say, where are we going with all this, Bill? What's the end of all this? If you really want to know, here's what you need to read. Read Plato's Republic. Read Bacon's New Atlantis. Read Kant, Hegel, and Marx. Okay, you got that? Plato's Republic. Bacon's New Atlantis. Kant, Hegel, and Marx. You read the works of those five people, and specifically the Republic and the New Atlantis by Plato and Bacon, and then study the philosophies of Kant, Hegel, and Marx, and you'll know exactly where we're going. And if you call me up and tell me, hey, that's pretty cool, man. That's not bad. I like it. Well, you can get a jump start on the whole thing. Just find you an inner tube and paddle over to Cuba. You don't have to wait. Know something about this country, folks, read Patriots by Landrut. Patriots by Landrut. Get it, read it. You'll be so overjoyed, so happy if you do. And notice that it probably wasn't George Washington or any of those other guys that was responsible for the American Revolution. Samuel Adams almost started the whole thing all by himself.